Hey, how's it going, you guys? This is spidey64 once again, back here with another video, and to continue on with our Spider-Man reviews and whatnot, sort of have you, we have talked about the Sam Raimi trilogy, which if you know me, I'm a really big fan of those movies and whatnot, sort of have you. I'm just really am a big fan of them and all that sort of stuff. And so you would probably, well, I mean, I don't know. Well, okay, I don't know. I always feel like there's this discrepancy of people sort of forgetting about the Andrew Garfield movies. And the thing is that I haven't forgotten a single cent about the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie. So what we're going to do here today is, once again, I'm here to talk about this Spider-Man movie. Though I want to talk about some of the interesting things of this movie and why I personally feel like it's a bit of an underrated Spidey flick, if you ask me. Because all of the Spider-Man movies have this, basically, they have a very high standard, and they also have a very well, I guess, they have one word to describe it. For example, it's Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, good, fantastic. Spider-Man 3, oh, the one that sucked. Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, the one that no one wanted. Amazing Spider-Man 2 had way too many plots. So, yeah, basically, those are the general, I guess, those are really sort of the general thoughts and feelings of those movies, and all that sort of stuff. Which, I mean, some of those I do agree with, but some of it I don't. Like, example, which I love Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man 3. I think I made that pretty clear. I probably am the biggest Spider-Man 3 fan you probably ever meet. Though, but I am also a fan of The Amazing Spider-Man. And, yeah, so, I mean, enough really with this introduction. Let's just get straight into the movie itself. So, first of all, of course, like every Spider-Man movie, and I feel like that every Spider-Man movie, whether it was Tobey's or even with Tom, now they all have to, go up against, they all have to go up against something and whatnot, sort of have you. For example, which this movie had a very tough task to do, not only because was it released during, the year of the Avengers and all that sort of stuff, but it just had a lot of stuff to overcome. A lot of people had to, now get used to this, new Spider-Man and all that sort of stuff. And hell, I remember watching this movie back in the theater and whatnot, sort of have you. And when I was, about 9 or 10 at the time the movie came out, I I loved the movie a lot. I really, really, really did. And I mean, hell, I was immediately in love. I immediately really liked Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and whatnot, sort of have you. And you know, Andrew always gets a bad rap, which I don't feel like he just deserves. I mean, he just doesn't really deserve it. I mean, I keep telling this a lot of people in my personal life and all that sort of stuff. When they ask me about, oh, I mean, I like Toby and I love Tom, but is the worst one. And to that, I just say he's not bad. Andrew Garfield is not a bad Spider-Man. He's just not in great movies. And going back over time and listening to other people's reviews and sort of looking back on the movie itself and trying to remove sort of the nostalgic feeling I have for that movie, not only for me because I always drank Starbucks and always ate Chinese food every time I watched that movie. I don't know, sort of like my little therapy and all that sort of stuff. And also another weird thing here too is that I also do that with the Incredible Hulk every time I rewatch it. I always rewatch it when it's a very cloudy day and I just eat Chinese food and I just watch the movie because, well, it's boring, like me. But like I said though, removing nostalgia out of the way, this movie does have its problems, and I do understand it. Like, for example, it's one of the few problems that, well, I mean, one of the few criticisms of this movie, I guess right here, is that is a lot of people, of course, the big one I'm trying to think of, and this is the biggest one, and that is, well, I mean, there's a lot of criticisms towards also the Lizard 2 and whatnot, sort of have you. And to really sort of talk about who has the best Spider-Man villains, like, who had the better ones? Was it, Tom, Toby, or Andrew, and all that sort of stuff? I love, you know, Defoe's Goblin, you know, Molina's Otto, you know, Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman, and I love Topher Grace's Venom and all that sort of stuff. But in terms of talking about Andrew's villains, they really could have been great characters. Like I think the Lizard, I feel like he's almost great. He's almost good, but the problem is just that they just cut a lot of his deleted scenes, and there's a lot of deleted scenes that involve around him. And I remember watching those scenes. I'm like, why wasn't these in the movie? And damn, it's just it's just Sony just once again meddling with things, and it's just so stupid, and all that sort of stuff. And once again, add that to another reason as to why Sony does not deserve Spider-Man. But we already know that, And I'll talk about this when I get to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 review, which hopefully I'll maybe do by maybe tomorrow. I'm not really so sure. Whatever is tomorrow by the time you'll see this video, but whole point is that the Lizard. I really do think that he could have been better, and I definitely could have been better. And besides, they had everything they needed and all that sort of stuff, and that's also what I really feel like that is just missing from this flick. And now time to answer the ultimate question as to why do I think this is the most underrated Spider-Man movie. Well, the reason is because going into this movie, we all knew that this movie was going to have a darker tone. Now, of course, this is practically the darkest Spider-Man movie in terms of really tone, but in terms of themes, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's really weird because every Spider-Man movie has dark themes in it. Like, I feel like the Raimi movies, like, they had a lot of dark stuff in there, especially, like, not only with, I guess, themes, but, scenes in the movie and all that sort of stuff. But, of course, I think this is why I consider that's really it for me. I think that is why I think this movie is just so underrated, is that people didn't embrace the darkness of what Mark Webb and what they were trying to do with Spider-Man. And honestly, they never really show Spider-Man's, I guess we should say, I don't know, they never show, really sort of the angsty version of Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, because I really gotta say, Andrew Spider-Man acts more like a teenager more than Tom's Spider-Man does, and I actually got please don't fall, please don't fall, please don't fall. I got the Tom figure right here. Oh God, I almost knocked over Black Widow, and I almost knocked over Black Panther. Damn it. I don't have steady hands anymore. They twitch. Well, they're not twitching here, but anyways. Yeah, so I guess this is the reason why you watched the video, because you wanted me to know why is Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, why is it the most underrated Spidey flick? And there you go. Mark Webb understand the angsty teen of of Spider-Man more than what they even do now and what they do with even what they did with Tobey Maguire, which I appreciate them not doing any of the teenager stuff and whatnot, sort of have you, because I'll be honest, I mean, it's now getting old, and I want to see Peter in his college years and all that sort of stuff. But damn, this is really something that I actually do miss with the sequel too. And once again, we'll talk about the sequel and kind of how it just basically just almost destroyed Spider-Man in terms of the movies and whatnot, sort of have you. So, all right. So, getting to the end of the video, of course, I've talked and raved about this movie, why it's so underrated. So, putting it in it. So, recapping the rankings I did do to the amazing. I did do to the Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man 1 is an 8 out of 10. Spider-Man 2 is a 10 out of 10. Spider-Man 3 a 8 out of 10, and then this one I have to give it a 7. It's good. It's really good. I do think so. I mean, not like great or anything like that, but still good overall. So, of course, when this video series is over, which will probably be the No Way Home review, which I then realize it's gonna come before the Hawkeye review, so that's something else I have to just remind myself with. But anyways, though, guys, tell me in the comments, what did you think of The Amazing Spider-Man? Do you like the movie a lot more? Or what's your thoughts and opinions on it? And how excited are you for the Lizard to show up in this movie? Personally, for me, it's cool, but they didn't change his design. Come on, guys, his design sucked in this movie. But yeah, but that's all I pretty much have to say. I'm a head out of here. Had a really rough day at school, so and yeah. So with that being said, we'll see you in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 review.